controversial factors like the Earth X controversy, the Nazism, the anti-white rhetoric, you name it. That's the only thing people are talking about with the show, not the overall story or the compelling characters that some think there are in this show, which there are absolutely none. By the way, there's no compelling characters in the show. It's just Gunn's Reddit fantasies just on full display with the show. And I'm sure I'm going to have more on that, more thoughts on that particular show after the season finale, because I'm sure there's going to be some cameo porn, like James Gunn claims he doesn't like, but we all know he does, because that's the only thing keeping his show relevant, or anything relevant from the DCU. He's got to have like those little controversial moments to distract from the fact that he actually can't tell a proper story, much less a compelling one. And I'll be sure to cover that in a future video. But today's video is going to be about Superman being a certified flop. And honestly, there's not much to say on this matter, because like I said, this is going to be a rather quick update video. But I'm only bringing this sort of subject matter up because I don't know if you guys remember, at least a month or two ago, where Warner Brothers and Variety Magazine tried gaslighting us into tricking us into thinking Superman actually made a profit, and that it made $125 million in profit, even though they left out a lot of details and were very vague about what the source was, entailing how this movie made profit, because they list all these other films that did pretty well at the box office, like Sinners and Weapons and all those movies, but they were very vague on why Superman made the money that it did, or the $125 million that it made. And we saw in the article, it said that there were sources that were not named, but they entailed that Superman turned a profit. And most of us that are not gun-tards actually, rightfully question that, and we're very skeptical of the fact that that was even the case. And we all said, okay, where's this unverifiable source? Where's this no-name source? Where are they getting these numbers from? Where's the $125 million coming from? What the fuck is that? And it turns out that was all a lie, because based on this Forbes article that came out recently, that was nowhere even near close to being the case. And it turns out it was far from it being the case. This movie lost over $40 million. And I believe it lost at least 42 million, and probably counting, because there's probably some other factors that we're not factoring in here, like other production budgets or tax documents. This movie probably lost a shit ton of money based on the numbers we're seeing, or maybe the lack thereof. But we do know officially now that this movie lost money, as most of us rightfully assumed that to be the case, and actually fell below Warner Brothers' expectations for the movie itself, even though Warner Brothers as an entity tried gaslighting us into saying that it actually met their expectations. James Gunn's Superman is a success. Well, now we officially know that was all bullshit. And I mean, could we really expect any less from a corporate entity like Warner Brothers? And we also shouldn't expect any less from the Gun-tards or the Gunn fandom, because the cope on the Twitter timeline, or my Twitter timeline, for example, it was insane when this tragic news came out for them that this movie did not turn a profit. And I'll even give you one example of this that I saw that was all kinds of retarded. And this post reads, "Fake news. For one, Warner Brothers didn't spend any money in making Superman. DC Studios did. Superman made $125 million in profit." Okay, I'm gonna read that again and see if y'all can spot the retarded detail with this. Fake news. For one, Warner Brothers didn't spend any money in making Superman. DC Studios did. Superman made $125 million in profit. And many apologize from yours truly, because I had to fill in some grammatical errors with this sentence, because this guy doesn't know how to read or write, much less. But I mean, this is what we can expect from Gun-tards. For one, they don't know how to read, write, or even do simple math. But the point I'm trying to make here is, I don't think this guy realizes that DC Studios is owned by Warner Brothers. Okay, Warner Brothers owns the IP. So yes, Warner Brothers did in fact lose money. I don't know why this point was lost on this individual, and it's probably just because this guy doesn't know how anything in the world works, or how businesses own certain IPs, such as Warner Brothers owning the DC IP. But despite all that, this just goes to show you that the Gunn fandom, they are in absolute shambles, and this news did not make this any better for them. And to make matters worse, if a movie like Superman, or a movie that features a very popular icon like Superman, can't even do well at the box office if it's being handled by some dipshit like James Gunn, what do you think is going to happen with movies such as Supergirl or even Clayface? What the fuck do you think is going to happen at the box office with those movies? Yeah, if you guessed it correctly, they're probably not going to do well. And if they are going to do well, then Warner Brothers is going to have to do a whole lot of course correction or a whole lot of damage control with their production budgets, mainly implementing budget cuts, because they cannot fuck up like they did with this movie, that being Superman. Like, they are really going to have to overhaul on their production budgets. And like I said this in a prior video to this one, or many videos prior to this one, but I predicted that if one of these movies was going to turn a profit, it's probably going to be Clayface, because I guarantee you there's not going to be a whole lot of money being pumped into that movie's production. But I can't really say the same for Supergirl, because there's no telling what they've already spent on that movie or what they are going to spend. The overall point being, or maybe the overall point of this entire video, is that the future is not looking bright for James Gunn or his DCU altogether, because not only did his film officially flop, it looks like nobody is watching Peacemaker, as the show's ratings are plummeting and are at all-time lows. I mean, who would have thought that, starting with Creature Commandos, a show nobody watched, and then leading right into Super L, which financially flopped, and then you have a shitty show like Peacemaker Season 2 that's flopping as well. Will the future ever be bright for James Gunn's DCU? I'd like to think no. And there's no indication that James Gunn's contract as being the CEO of DC Studios, or a co-CEO of DC Studios, is actually going to be extended. Even for someone like Peter Safran, I don't think either of these guys' contracts are going to be extended, especially when you have a series of flops after flops after flops to show for. And like, why would anyone extend your contract? You're losing the company money. And I know people gave individuals like Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi shit for a couple of flops, but they actually pulled themselves together after the Minecraft movie, Sinners, and even Weapons. And it looks like David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, is actually extending their contracts for an unspecified period of time. And the same cannot be said for co-CEOs of DC Studios, that being James Gunn and Peter Safran. So it's going to be interesting to see how things unfold going forward with their contracts, or even into next year, because James Gunn's contract actually expires next year. So it's going to be very interesting to see how things unfold going forward. I'm definitely going to be interested. And what's also going to be interesting is who's going to buy out Warner Brothers, because there's been talks about who's going to, win the bidding war, whether it's going to be Netflix, Paramount Pictures, or Skydance, or maybe some other entity that's going to acquire Warner Brothers and own all the different IPs. I'm just hoping whoever acquires Warner Brothers, they do damage control and get people like Gunn and Safran out of the hands of DC. These guys cannot handle it properly. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. And this news about Superman flopping at the box office and the horrible ratings with Peacemaker Season 2 just does nothing but confirm my overall suspicions for this DCU that I've had from the very get-go, and many others like myself that have had these overall suspicions about how James Gunn was going to handle his DCU, or how he's going to handle these iconic characters like Superman. It turns out he doesn't know how to handle these characters. He doesn't give a fuck about the brand. It's all just like an ego trip for this guy. It's nothing but an ego trip, nothing but a Reddit fantasy. He's just playing Reddit action figures with the DC property. This guy doesn't give a fuck, and I can't wait till they boot this guy out of DC altogether. It's time for him to go, and same with Peter Safran. These guys produce nothing but flops, and they don't care about these characters. They never have, and quite frankly, they never will. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. This was a rather quick one, because obviously not much to talk about other than the big news that this film is an official flop, like I always thought it was going to be. But now I'm going to kick it off to you guys. What do you think about this quote-unquote tragic news about Superman financially flopping at the box office? And what do you think is going to happen with James Gunn's DCU going forward? I would really like to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments below. And if you liked today's video, go ahead, drop a like, and subscribe to the channel for more certified banger content. And if you really like this video today, make sure to share this video with your friends, as this will help boost my overall appearance on the YouTube